Okay, you are live.
Great. Click that one.
All right. Welcome. A call to order. A quorum being present, this meeting of the Annapolis Historic Preservation Commission shall come to order. The commission operates pursuant to the land use article of the annotated code of the state of Maryland. Local authority for the commission is derived from municipal code of the city of Annapolis, chapter 21, section 56. The purpose of the HPC is to preserve sites, structures, districts of historical, cultural, and architectural significance. Requirements for the commission serving on the commission are detailed in chapter 21, section 8.06. The HPC operates under the State of Maryland Open Meetings Act, and therefore no pending application shall be discussed or between or amongst commissioners outside the public hearing. Okay, next on the agenda is our roll call. Going from my upper right here, Bobby Collins, our vice chair.
Here.
Will Scott.
Here.
Kevin Smith.
Here.
Leslie Xavier.
Here.
Kim Finch.
Here.
All right. And also joining us is John Tower, our staff.
Hello.
I use that word it's in such a crazy way, John. You do a great job. I say that, but you're just our staff. Right?
Thank you.
And Kimberly Consolia is our recorder, who makes sure that all of my notes, our notes, are in the public record. Okay. We only have one item on the agenda tonight, is 99 Compromise Street, and it's a pre-application. So I need to please promote the presenters, if you will. Oh, I'm sorry, Tom Smith is here as well. Sorry, just noticed
Jackie.
that. Thanks, Tom. And Jackie is here as well. Jackie Rouse from the.
And Alderwoman Tierney.
Yes. Hi.
Hi.
You're joining as an older person, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a
Which
photobomb.
okay. All right.
Nice shot.
So now I need to hi guys. So we have Ted and
Jim O'Hare.
okay. Hi Jim.
Hi there, how are you?
Oh, great, thanks. Okay. I need to you to understand that this is a pre-application, and any comments made by the HPC at a pre-application are in no way to be interpreted as an approval of projects in any way. Any absence of comments don't indicate approval, and it's solely an accommodation to the applicant for design review in advance of an anticipated application. At this point, we do not know. We received your documents, but we don't have a formal application. So the applicant is not clear to us at this point, and we are aware that the applicant can change in different. Sometimes the architect presents as the applicant on behalf of an owner, or the owner presents, but that is unclear. I just have to acknowledge that that's unclear in this situation. Also, there are some outstanding issues with the prior application. And also, I need the commissioners to understand that there are at least two more steps to go through: a site design review and a special exceptions with the Board of Appeals. So all that being said, we are always interested in seeing projects in their stages of development. So we are interested to see this, and sorry, I'm speaking for the commission. The pre-application process is designed to welcome designs in their early stages. So we don't want to, so I just wanted to put that out there. So I believe the commissioners all are, if they weren't aware of that and didn't have a chance to see all of their documents in before that, I wanted to make the commissioners aware of that, and you also, as the presenter at this point.
Tim?
Yes, so that's my introduction. Yes, Will, would you like to say something?
Right. Yes, I would, before we go further, because I did have a chance to receive the letter, the 4-page single spaced letter from the residents of the existing condominium. And I've faced as a commissioner similar situations in the past. And the lack of clarity about ownership, the lack of clarity about some of the questions that I think we would have to be, or the city at least would have to be concerned about with utilities, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that, and because this is really a reduction of something that we've seen before, I don't think this is a timely review, even though we want to be accommodating and we do want to facilitate prompt action on any submission, any project in the city. There are just too many complicated questions for us to, I mean, I can't offer an opinion right now about whether I think this is feasible or not. I think it remains for people like Tom Smith and the city officials to say whether who has title, who's the legal applicant, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
We're also confident that all those issues will be worked out. My
Actually,
feeling is
before
that-
have you present, I would like to get
yeah.
I would like to hear the opinion of the other commissioners.
Yeah, and I do have one final.
Because he's only one commissioner, so.
Because Mr. Shellis or Shields,
Shields.
He actually reminded me of something I meant to say. If I can't be assured that the applicant tonight is the legal owner of the property, who will be following whatever guidelines we require, I'm not willing to take my personal time to review something that is so convoluted and legally conflicted at this time. I'm a volunteer. I'm doing this to try and make my city a better place to live and to treat the applicants in the historic district, the residents there, fairly. And in the past, I've been on commissions where something comes with this kind of muddled situation, the staff just says, no, it's not, we're not ready to take any more time to look at this until we solve this. So finally, and then I'll shut up. If somebody representing the city, such as Mr. Smith, can say that, yes, this can legally proceed, then I will go forward. Otherwise, I don't think we should spend our time reviewing it.
I think that's a valid concern. Other commissioners feel like that's a valid concern, and we should ask for the city representatives to state their opinions before we go forward. Other commissioners, Bobby?
Tim, I had the same concern that
Okay.
I was confused that we were looking at something that had that ambiguity associated with it. That's,
Okay.
I think we're too early in the process to have an opinion about something like that. That it's not really our role yet.
Leslie?
I think, this is an issue of transparency. And I think that, it's really, I agree with Kevin to a large extent. It's prefer to keep my opinions out of this as far as ownership, and not to impinge on anyone's ideas, so to speak. I don't feel bad about listening, because I think listening is an important element of any kind of conversation. But it's obvious that there needs to be some discussion between condominium owners and the persons that own / run, whatever the case may be. So my only point is that, I recognize that there is a conflict, but on the other hand, I think to keep the ball rolling, I don't mind, at least giving a listen to things.
Okay. Kim, what's your thought? Should we, basically what we're asking here is, I think next we'd like to, after Kim, is ask the several city officials, Jackie and Tom and John, to give us their opinion. So Kim, what are your thoughts? Kim Finch.
Well, my thoughts are, similar to Leslie's. I mean, we're always willing to listen, but right now the ownership seems so murky that I'm not sure that further discussion on it will be useful until we have an opinion of the city of who is the rightful owner of the rooftop. I mean, the issue is there's ground ownership and there's condominium ownership. I don't know if somehow this was set up separately in previous organizations, but it doesn't sound like it from what I've been looking at from the condominium association, that this was a separate ownership set apart.
Yeah.
So I do have I do feel it's premature to bring it to us with so many murky issues here.
Yeah. So I concur. I've heard, from one extreme a little bit to the other, that we shouldn't even have any more discussion, but we're always happy to have discussion. So as a commission, we want to be transparent and we want to provide good customer service. So I would actually like whoever from Jackie or John or Tom to tell us the where this stands in terms of the several steps I mentioned, including a site design review.
Well, as you all know, you have looked at this project once before. I believe there was a pre-app last year, was there not?
Yeah.
And you all offered input to it. We do have both a submittal for a site design plan review and for a special exception approval that have been in the office. And in response to prior comments that were made on the project, we did have a site meeting with them, and they have redesigned the project and submitted redesigned plans. But as you are aware, there are several issues that have emerged with the project, and they're under review. And it was actually my idea to put this on the agenda tonight so that we could at least get some feedback from the commission on, the evolving design. However, it was really enlightening to me to listen to your conversation in terms of transparency and, in terms of this presentation. And personally, I think that it's really up to you if you all feel like you want to delay review of it until the issues are resolved. There's also another issue with the stormwater management that has to be resolved with Public Works, but I understand that issue is underway in terms of resolution. But maybe Tom would like to. We certainly want to be transparent to the public and to you all in terms of what's going on. That's our number one goal, I would think. So, Tom?
Actually, I see, if you don't mind, Tom, Leslie's got her hand up as a commissioner.
Okay.
Leslie, yeah.
So basically what I wanted to say was that, I think that our place in this is to say what is legal, what is not legal, as far as what the historic preservation is and, what we believe, because that could generally affect even their desire to do this project. So I think that it's important for us to keep an open mind, and just like any judge would rule on something without taint and without bias, I know that, you know, the owners seem to be very, very upset, but that's his problem. And it's obvious that he can't go forward unless he resolves those problems. But I think in the good faith, you know, what we say here, you know, they could determine that this isn't even worth pursuing.
Mhm. Okay, so then maybe Tom, thanks, Leslie. I hear what you're saying is maybe not tonight. So so Tom, your thoughts, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
In terms of the potential for this moving forward as a project at all, I guess.
Well, I think Jackie said it well. We've been working with this applicant for some time, and this issue of ownership has kind of risen to a higher level, one that we need.
Way beyond our pay grade.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes, sir. Well said. We need some understanding and maybe even legal counsel for, but we are working with the applicant. We have continued to work with the applicant. While I think it would be helpful for the staff, myself included, to hear the commission's thoughts on the design at this stage where we have gone through a couple of iterations would help us in our site design review as we move that part of the application forward. But I am certainly understanding of the commission. If they feel that this is not appropriate at this time, we will work on the ownership issue and come back.
Okay. And John?
And Tim, can I
Yeah,
just
go
say one more thing? It's that if everybody on the commission does not feel comfortable about making comments on the project at this point in time, I don't think it would be a really productive exercise to, you know, if you were not going to get a full input from everybody because people have conflicted feelings, you know, that's problematic, I believe.
Okay.
I agree with Ms. Rouse on that comment, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you. John, your thoughts?
Well, it's been an interesting process. It's gone on over years now. This is, I think we're entering our second year of looking at designs. And this design that is going to be presented or might be presented tonight was in response to comments from the previous pre-application meeting and the applicant's desire to work with staff and to address the comments made. However, I am sensitive to the issues of ownership and to the Council of Unit Owners. Is a strong letter. I also know that there are other steps that have to be taken. The original stormwater management agreement has to be addressed. And the site design review has to progress also. And site design would be aided by hearing the commissioner's views of this design. But I'm also supportive of any commissioners who feel that this is difficult to address from a standpoint of review for impact within the historic district because of the possible legal issues that surround this.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. And your volunteers, and I appreciate everyone's time and their viewpoint of applying guidelines to the project. But I don't want to try to persuade commissioners to do something that they're not comfortable with.
Okay. Then what I'm hearing, again, as chairman, I kind of am summarizing what I'm hearing among the commissioners and then the staff, it's still unclear. So I'd like to summarize a little bit what I heard. At least one commissioner has said that we shouldn't be even having gone this far. Another felt somewhat the same. The two others felt that there's some transparency issue. Staff also said perhaps we can hear a little bit of information tonight, and then therefore in my habit of summarizing what we're hearing in pre-applications, and I want to emphasize the fact that this is a courtesy and it's to the applicant to provide feedback on design for an application. This is not a formal decision, or so it is a conversation. And what I also heard was that that the prior design, this is not new. We have seen a design for this before, and this design is considerably different, and first of all, lower in scale, and maybe more compatible with the existing buildings. So I guess my feeling is that and again, I would like to summarize this for the other commissioners, that at this point, we don't feel like.
How about that?
Sorry, Jackie, you're still on in my dramatic summary. At this point, the application is now available to us, or the proposal is available to us, and the design has changed and moved closer to feasibility from our guideline point of view. In other words, from this building scale, the materials, the general design has moved forward, but at this point, we don't know who the applicant actually will be. And to me, that's kind of the baseline of a pre-application. We have to understand as a commission, either the owner or the architect representing the owner or the builder representing the owner, which have all happened, but at this point we just don't know. So I would propose that at this point we say we don't need to vote because it's not an application, but I would say that we would prefer as a commission that we wait until further details are available as to who the applicant will be. And then we'd be happy to see you again as soon as you figure that out. And then we can review this as a pre-app.
Tim?
Yes. So for the question, just other commissioners, have I summarized?
I think you've made an excellent summary, but there is one point that made me speak so strongly that I didn't share. And I'm not sure that I need to, but I feel like I should. And that is, our actions actually have a lot more weight than we might realize. The city is dealing with a number of legal actions, including one of which I was a signatory more than 20 years ago, and it is still being litigated. And my intimate knowledge of the proceedings are that the plaintiffs do not have factual ground for their complaint, but they're still proceeding because the court is allowing it to give them, full due process and their right to have their case heard. And that's one reason why I'm very hesitant to do anything with this tonight, because there are clearly substantial legal issues in play here.
Yeah. And again, I want to emphasize this is really a working session, a design review. This is not a formal hearing,
Right.
but I hear what you're saying. And notwithstanding the fact that the potential that Jim, you said you think those are going to be resolved. I don't think right now the group is persuaded that there's enough information to move forward with tonight's review.
Yeah. And Tim, do you mind if I comment? That was Ted, by the way, who indicated that. But I would, when the time is appropriate, I would like to have a chance to speak to the commission if I could.
in regard to this application or in general?
Well, just in general, I do feel that a representative of the homeowners association has sent in a letter and has been heard, and I would like a chance to be heard as well.
I see. I hear what you're saying. So would you like to respond to the homeowner's letter? That I believe would be the appropriate.
I
thing
would, and
That's
let me,
fine.
Tim, can I?
yeah, and
can
I'll
I-
make it brief because I appreciate Will's comments, and I understand everyone's volunteer here, and I know it's difficult times. In particular, I'm familiar with what Will mentioned and lawsuits and so on, and so I will. Well, first of all, thank you all for your time, and I'll tell you the issue, and I don't want to speak for the homeowners, but this is a condominium. And by the way, before I was a developer full-time, I was a lawyer for 20 years, and so have familiarity with this. And it's really not as complicated as it's been presented, other than this fact. The application that we submit, it has a label that says who is the owner. And so of course we put in our entity, O2 Rec Center LLC, as the owner. But we don't own the roof of the garage. We don't own the garage. All of that is part of a common element that's established under the condominium documents. Also established under the condominium documents is my right to build up to 2 units on the garage.
Jim, with all due respect, you're starting to get into topics that are well beyond this commission's role.
Yeah, I understand.
There's only one thing I will comment, that you are correct, that we see applications, then you need to enter owner. We have not seen an application. We have no application form in front of us. So that's why we're stymied right now. This is a pre-application. We are seeing your ideas, your drawings. So until we see that application, we don't know. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is exactly what we're having a problem with right now. So,
right, but
I will say one more thing. Please feel free to respond to the letter that has been provided. Please feel free to respond to that, and it will be provided to the commissioners.
We will do that, and we'll have the lawyers respond. But I would like to finish my thought there, and that is, I own the right to develop under the condominium documents, and we will have a legal response to that. I had hoped, and by the way, it's pretty clear, but we're happy to come back, and we wanted to show you the changes that were made to accommodate comments that had been received from neighbors in the city, and we've substantially revised the building. I'll remind.
I believe I acknowledged that.
Okay, yeah. And so, and I don't mean to be contentious in any way, but when I'm not sure, I guess, which comes first. So as we work through the legal issue and resolve with the city, which I believe we will, how the application should be framed or titled, we then come back to you with this revised design. Is that what you're suggesting?
We enable pre-applications to occur before other approvals have been, as a courtesy to the applicant for design feedback. But there, at least, it will be a site design review, and to my understanding, a Board of Appeals. Those 2 things need to happen before the final application. But we're more than welcome to see this again if the commissioners feel like we understand who the applicant will be.
So maybe this is a question for John. We do have an application in, right, to planning and zoning, but not to HPC. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So, we will not, I guess in that case, we will not get a pre-app.
For site design review, that's correct.
No, I mean, we won't get it if the conclusion of the commission is that they can't review our application as a pre-app until the application is submitted. But I believe that means we're just coming in and we won't get the benefit of a pre-app.
No, we're more than, no, 3 applications. Our rules of procedure are pretty clear. You can come in anytime. In this particular case, we are concerned that we don't understand who the applicant will be. It's important to understand who the applicant will be. That's the only issue. I think we're willing to talk, obviously, or on design review. So another pre-application would be fine as soon as you can clear up the issues that we have surfaced this evening.
Is it at all relevant, the applicant on the site design and special exception application with plan and zoning? I know you guys don't have a copy of that, but I think Jackie and Tom are aware of the applicant.
That would be new information for me personally at this moment.
Well, as I said, we do have a special exception in a site design application in, but we do have what a number of people feel is an unresolved issue. The question has been raised about the ownership. We don't really at this point in time have an opinion about it. It's just, but we are exploring that. And there is also an issue that has been raised recently in our review comments on the project from Public Works regarding the stormwater management on the project. And I think the most productive thing for us to do at this point is, and I did ask to put this on the agenda, because I saw it as a step in moving forward. But after listening to the conversation tonight, I think in the issue of transparency and that we really need to pull back until we can come here for another pre-application, which is kind of on a clean application without major stumbling blocks. That's it. Tom's the acting director now, so I'm going to let him, that's just my opinion, and Tom can have the final say on this from our point of view. Tom?
Well, actually, this is our commission meeting, so I'll have the final say.
I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean it that way. I just meant from a
No,
planning and.
I think we've had an interesting discussion. Perhaps things got ahead of ourselves, but I think what we are trying to say is come back for another pre-application anytime you want. If you can give us better information about this ownership issue. And number 2, feel free to present your point of view. So to Jim on response with new information that was provided to us, which in fact, the information that were provided to us. So please feel free to do that.
We will do that. Yep. We'll respond.
We'll
Yep.
work with you. We'll work with you as soon as the issues are cleared up. Then I think we can have a substantive discussion about the massing, materials, design, which is what we are here to do. Any other commissioners want to chime in before that summary is complete?
Yeah, Tim, Jackie mentioned the public works concerns. It's hard to evaluate a project on the massing and the design when we don't know about the public works final outcome. I mean, stormwater management can massively change a design and how it has to be built. So I would
Some more
just say
clarity on that.
the public works part is just as important to me as the ownership part.
All right.
Yeah.
I think
Tim?
Leslie raised her, Leslie, I think had her hand up. Did you have
Sure.
your hand up, Leslie?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, after hearing the other commissioners, I think, for the presenters, that it's probably in your best interest that we not, insert ourselves in this, as it would be seen as being, it would be seen as a prejudice thing. So we can't really offer anything until you come back and give us a more conclusive way forward. I think just the fact that we're all so conflicted signifies that, we don't feel that we can make a just, review of this at the moment.
Okay. And Will, you had your hand up.
That was well said.
Okay. All right. So then with that, hopefully we provided the presenters with feedback. And we again recognize this is not an application yet. We recognize the history of this project, and it has changed over time based on the prior application. So that's positive feedback. And that's about all we really can provide, I believe, at this time. Okay.
Tim,
Yeah, okay.
can I just add one more thing? The comments, we're working with DPW right now through some, what I think are not substantial issues. I think they're easily solvable, and we're trying to work through that right now. We just had
Okay.
we were not aware of some of the comments earlier on until fairly recently. So
Okay.
I also don't think that's going to be a large stumbling block for us.
That's great. And we understand, we've seen the design that you're presenting, and it does have considerable amount of issue. Green roof was the issue. So I think we've all seen that now. So at least we're ready for the next pre-application. How about that as the conclusion from a design point of view? Okay. All right. Well, thanks. And we will see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you
Thanks for your time.
Okay, that was the only thing on the agenda. I don't, actually, I have one question. It is possible for us to meet live in the near future, and I think I'll probably gauge our need or desire for that over the next few weeks, the next few months. I think the last time I polled the group, we are happy to continue on a Zoom basis. As a commission, I know I would prefer to be live to a certain extent. So, but I just wanted to poll. Anyone have a strong feeling like we're ready to go back live and we should do it, or wait? So go around the room. Kevin?
Yeah, I have concerns with my ability to meet live, so that's a challenge for me many nights.
Yeah, and actually, also you raised another issue that from a customer service and accessibility point of view, Zoom is working. So
Absolutely.
okay. How about you, Bobby?
I understand people's concerns. When I think about going back live, I would like to see us going back live when a lot of the city doc stuff comes before us, because I'd like for there to be maximum opportunity for the spontaneity and the public feedback that we get when we're live. I'd like to see us be out there in public for this particular application. It may be a series of applications. I'm not sure how it's actually going to come before us. But when I think about going live, that's what I think about is the city doc stuff.
Bigger projects.
Yeah. But I understand people have concerns and there are issues. So, and I totally get that.
How about you, Leslie? John, you're not as commissioner.
I was just going to mention, could we do a hybrid meeting?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have our techies on board. Hybrids are working in some of my other endeavors. That's, I believe, where we're headed. I don't know yet. So Madeline can chime in a little later, maybe, about how we're able to do them. Is anybody doing hybrid, John?
No one's doing hybrids. We've been told by IT that they can't do hybrids. We raised that issue months and months ago about the possibility of doing hybrid meetings.
Well,
we can help them, maybe.
We should see, because I think it's important to have a public voice, and not everyone is going to meet the deadline to write an email to voice their opinion, and public input is important. I know that we're transparent, but that's paramount in my opinion.
So Right. So Tim, it might be really helpful if AHPC wrote a letter
Yeah,
requested,
Wrote a letter.
saying that you fully support that concept. Maybe we could get some traction on it.
exactly. I can even provide examples of
Right.
my other experience of how this is done.
I think
So
I
Will
think it may
has-
be a financial issue, but I think it's well worth exploring.
Me too. Will, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I've been involved in a number of hybrid meetings. I don't, unless the city has some security issue about the network or something like that,
Yeah.
I don't see why it's not possible, and I would favor it. And I would favor actually live meetings exclusively when the Hillman Garage is reopened.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Kim? Finch?
Well, I mean, we do hybrid meetings in Prince George's County now, and we've been doing them for a long time. But it gets very complicated and confusing, I will have to say.
Yeah.
But I do think it allows for more variety of public opinion and input.
Yeah.
So I think a hybrid would probably be the best. It's not the easiest thing to do, I will also say. But we have, a variety of older citizens who want a in-person meeting, and we have, people who want a hybrid meeting they can zoom in from, so they can come from work or wherever they are at that point. So
Okay,
it's,
thanks.
yeah, I think it's a matter of a technological expertise at that point about
Mhm.
what we can really work out.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think a hybrid is probably going to be the ultimate solution to public input,
Mhm.
The
But-
more the merrier.
but everybody, I don't know, but Annapolis might be not set up for it right now, and we're not the area of a county. We are the area of a city. Our residents are within the city, so it's a closer limit.
Yeah.
So if we have people who are concerned and want to provide input, but all the time might be inconvenient, they can write a letter ahead of time. But we have a smaller range, whereas I'm dealing with a much larger county.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Leslie, did you want to make another comment?
Yeah, so over at the academy, we do hybrids a lot, but we look much like we do here because we're all sitting around
a
with
room.
computers in front of us. And then this enables people that are there, publicly to be able to actually see us in person. And for those that can't be there, can be there, online, much like we are here. But, I also like the ability that we have here of being able to share screens when there's graphics and when there's presentations. It makes it much easier. I'm open to either in any way that.
Okay.
that-
Yeah. Well, I'm certainly aware that I'm sitting down now, and small towns are able to do this. So I guess Jackie is right. We as a commission, maybe I can make a point to the IT department or John, maybe through John, that we feel that a hybrid is able to be done at probably not a significant cost, and people are doing it, and we think it would be a good way forward for us as one commission, but all commissions.
Yeah.
So, Tim, may I suggest that you might want to send a letter to the mayor or to the city manager about this, because it is
Well, we have
budget
a-
cycle right now, and if it requires additional funding,
are-
this would be
we
an
are-
ideal time.
We are very lucky to have our Alderwoman Ellie Tierney here, so she's heard all of this. So
Oh,
Yeah.
she's busy writing that in chair of the finance committee.
No,
Oh, there you go.
I do want to applaud you for noticing or suggesting that a public meeting will involve more public input. I think that's what I'm hearing, especially when we engage in City Doc. I did find that during the garage review.
mhm.
It was a little unfortunate because I sense that my public, you think it's a little tedious sometimes to submit testimony and rather show up.
It's difficult. It was difficult.
But, after Hillman is built and there's, garage access and all that, it should be smoother.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but yeah, my understanding with hybrid, at least from the city council perspective, is that we, when we have an illness or somebody from a council person wants to chime in, we use Skype. And I may not be correct, but I understand that there might be some security issues with Skype, as Will suggested, but I'm not sure. And again, yeah, the budget, I would suggest send a letter to the city manager because this is his.
Right. Yeah, I'll draft something and then we can review it at our next meeting, or I'll send it around by email. Okay, well, thanks for joining us tonight, Ellie.
Yeah, can I just say something? Can I say one quick thing? I was thinking when you were talking about the previous applicant, I think it's all I could think of is in my years of construction, right? The first question we always asked is,
who's the owner?
Who is the authority having jurisdiction?
Sure, and we'll work it out.
Yeah, you will.
We'll work it out. Yeah.
Thank you for all you do.
All right, thanks. Thank you. Any other comments?
No.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.